Bella, you said you met up with a guy that you met on 4chan/Discord in the hotel to
Yeah, so I actually started all of
the
my
4chan to Discord pipeline, really?
Yeah, well, I actually started my online presence on 4chan. I basically just posted a selfie and it got a lot of attention, and then I started posting a lot on the same board, and I made a Discord server for myself, and I got a lot of orbiters or simps or whatever, and one of the guys, we ended up having a lot in common, and I found him attractive, and he was like, would you want to meet up and hook up? And I was like, sure, why not? If you drive and pay for everything, sure. So he drove here and we hooked up, and then he went home.
Okay, cool.
All right.
You said that women have it way easier than men when it comes to dating/getting hookups.
Yeah, I think that because of the fact that men want sex so bad, I think it's a lot easier for women, yes. But in dating in general, also, just because I think it's a thing in our society, whether it be due to biological aspects or societal aspects, because men are often the ones courting women, so women don't usually have to take the initiative. So as a woman, I never really approach guys, and I think I have it easier in that way. Men just, I think it's more common for men to just approach women, and that's what I mean by easier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this is from your own experience also?
I mean, it's from my own experience, and just I feel every woman's experience, honestly.
Okay.
But I think it's I feel the controversial part is that I think that there's a negative side to that too, because if you're an unattractive woman, men won't really give you the light of day at all. They will kind of see you as invisible, whereas if they see an unattractive man, they'll still see them as a peer.
I completely disagree. I think it's actually harder for better looking women. Men don't approach you as often because they are intimidated with getting rejected, and the average or lesser looking women actually get approached more because men don't want their egos to be shut down.
I mean, it depends on how attractive you are, though. I guess
it depends.
if you're a 10, yeah, guys will be scared to approach you, but that's because they admire you so much.
You don't have to be a 10.
I don't know about admiration. I mean, I just think it's a psychological, it's almost like when you're fishing, right? You want to draw your line and you want to get a bite. And I think a man's going to go for someone that's more demure and less resistant to their advances.
Yeah, but I guess you're talking about average looking women. I'm talking about unattractive women. I think unattractive women have it really hard because
those are the ones they marry. That's the thing.
Well, I mean, it's just because I when I was a little bit younger, I've lost a lot of weight, and I've noticed a big difference in just the way that men have treated me, and it's not even in a romantic sense, but just in how they treat me as a human. And I think it's because of how they view me, or if they see me as attractive or not,
Okay. But you did say that, you said women have it a lot easier than men when it comes to dating, but a lot of that is a result of the patriarchy.
Yeah. So that's what I was kind of getting into there is I think that the whole thing with women having it easier was created by men because they kind of view women as a prize a lot of the time, and it's not necessarily we're not necessarily asking for that attention.
Well, right now what's happening in 2024 is beta males actually view themselves as the prize because they're not taking the
Yes.
lead. So like men, for example, who asked you out on the date, who planned the date, to said, we're going to go shooting, like wear this. Those are the alpha males, the ones that don't have to say they are. I am so irritated by these accounts like on Instagram that like have to say they're an alpha male. Like, no, you're actually not, because the true masculine energy just leads. And so I don't necessarily think that women, quote unquote, having it easier was created by men. I don't even think women do have it easier. I don't think either sex has it easier. I think there's
I definitely think women have it easier.
maybe certain kinds of women.
I know.
Wait, which ones don't?
Which ones don't? Actually, I'm curious too.
Is it? You said it was the hot ones that.
If
don't
you have, if a man doesn't have a big enough of a set to handle a woman who's intelligent and smart and attractive and maybe successful, then yeah, it is hard.
You mean
It's a thing, Brian.
Wait, you mean a pain in the ass?
No, because you can be, you can
they'll
be,
never talk to you.
you
and
can be successful in your skill or profession and be subservient in your relationship and submit. So I don't think the two should conflict.
Is that something that you usually see with boss babes, that they're very submissive?
I don't want to be a boss babe.
Yeah, I know, but
I
do
think
you
that's
think
whole,
that women who have careers and are very career-oriented, highly career-oriented, want to see themselves succeed in their careers are usually boss babes? Because that's been my experience. Here's what I don't usually see in women who are super driven towards careers, that they're super submissive to men. Haven't seen that very much. Where are you finding all of these super driven career submissive women? I'd love to know.
I think what happens is certain people have been led in a certain direction because they don't feel they have the option. There aren't enough men that are up to par with Christian values or leading. I mean, there's so many beta males right now. You can agree with that. There's a lot of men right now that are...
my distinction here is like, I think I would agree with you. There's way too many fucking simps for sure. But when you say a beta male, all right, versus an alpha male, I don't even believe in those categories. Those are bad categories, right?
Well, how maybe society
so these
deems it.
like the alpha hierarchy, I just think it's nonsense. But like if you're talking about like a sissified man or something like this, sure, right? I can see to that, or a simp or this type of thing. But I'd still like to know this phenomenon of where you're finding all of these really submissive, career-driven women. Like, where do you think all of these women are?
I don't think
There
any
is a lot
women,
of them.
unless you're like
Are
a straight
there?
up liberal and just delusional, I don't think there's any women who want to be career driven. I think it's the choice that you have because you haven't found any kind of a situation where you're going to be provided for. You're not just going to sit in your dad's garage at 18 and just wait for some knight to come save you. That's just not the reality of the world. And based on the destruction of the nuclear family, that's where we're at.
That's career driven. Then it seems like if
I
you're
think
getting
you
a
have choice.
career because that's the alternative you have to being taken care of, then that's not you being driven towards career. That's you getting a career because it's the only way that you can make ends meet. Seems like that's something you would give up very quickly if you didn't have to make ends meet. So I don't really understand where that drive is exactly.
I don't understand it either, but I can tell you that my ex, the girl he was with in the years that we were apart, like he offered for her to live with him and him pay all the bills and stuff. And she's like, no, I want to get my PhD. You can kind of like fuck off. And I don't want to have kids either, at least not for many years. I'm just focused on this. And I'm like, hi, I'll live with you. I think it's crazy to not accept that. But, and some of it's just like, you can't, like the reliability of men too. Like you have to just, a guy, I can tell you firsthand, I was married to someone who wanted to be a provider and all the things, and then ended up, well, I can't get into that, but it ended up going left. So that's where the fear comes from for a lot of women. But some women just genuinely don't have that drive in there. And also, ironically, she was submissive to him, and like we're kind of even keel with one another. And I'm more like trad wifey, I guess.